It's 5:30. We have quorum. The July 28, 2026 meeting of the Oconee County Public Library Board of Trustees is called to order. We'll start with the invocation. Please rise. We are blessed today to have Pastor Pat Eshworth. He's pastor of Newry Baptist. He's going to lead us in the invocation.
Let's pray. God and Father of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we come to you at this moment because we desperately need you. And we thank you for this great country of ours. It's great because you've made it great. And Lord, we've sinned. We've asked you to forgive us. Lord, we thank you not only for this country, but for this county, this community. But Lord, we ask your blessings on it. We ask your blessing on this meeting. May you give wisdom and give understanding and give guidance to your glory and to our help. Thank you for these men and women who are willing to come and do this business, set aside time in their life to do this for our county. We ask your blessings on them and on this county. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Okay, now we'll do the pledge. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated. Now, I know you have a copy of the minutes. Is there any corrections it needs? Minutes need? Don't see anything. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Who was second? Vicki?
And we have a time now for public comment. 4 minutes per person.
You gotta make everybody vote. Do we have to vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I always forget that. I'm sorry. So all in favor of approving the minutes, that would be nice, would you? Please raise your hand.
Good job.
Thank you. Any opposed? Now, public comment, we have limited 4 minutes per person. Have anyone like to make public comment tonight? Okay. Board member comments. Do we have any board member comments?
I just wanted to say something. Thank you for always reminding us of the special things going on in the library, because yesterday it was like, oh, this is the tiny little art show at Westminster. And Leah Price does such a great job over there. That is such a great little library. She had like, I think 45 entrants. They do these little paintings, 2-year-old through, I don't know, our age, you know. The lady who won for adults is probably my age. And what a community she has built over there. I'm very impressed, and it was fun.
Well, and the good thing about that program is actually she and Kayla at Salem, they switch off.
Yeah.
So Kayla had the tiny art show in the spring, and I think
Yeah.
she's gonna have it again maybe in the fall.
Yeah.
So this is gonna, I mean, until
Yeah.
nobody enters, I guess, we'll continue to do it.
She had prizes and medals. The kids were just thrilled. It was great. So thanks for reminding.
We need some pictures of that too, Dee.
Yeah, what?
We need the pictures of that.
Sorry, I didn't take pictures. She took pictures.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Friends report?
Okay, the sales, they are continuing to do well. They, for June and, or May and June, I'm sorry, the, total revenue was $9,800, and some change. They are, still receiving a number of fairly large donations. People are finding out that they will come, because they will go, and they don't take everything that they go get or go see or whatever, but they have been contacted several times by people who are, let's say, cleaning out a loved one's home or something like that, and so they will actually go and have gotten several large donations that way, by, going through and kind of culling out what people have. And so they've been willing to go, they have volunteers that will go do that and pick up the books for them, so they've been able to get in a number of new items. And, I mean, they, you know, we can also continue to get donations at the library as well, at all of our branches. And they process them and get them in, and, you know, certain things maybe they're overstocked in, they'll have a sale on, that kind of thing. I think they did have a Christmas in July here with the last sale. last couple sales, so they had Christmas books on a cart, you know, that kind of thing. So they stay up to date with, you know, what's popular, and, you know, they do little gimmicks and that kind of stuff. They also do sell puzzles, and they do sell artwork, and I mean, there's been a lot of other things besides just books and DVDs that have been donated to them. So they have been, you know, able to get some stuff out there for people. I think they are finally winding down on the model building books that they had for a while, but they've also got magazines. They built a whole rack that they could wheel out, because we didn't want anything installed in the actual garage bay to get in the way of the vehicles. So they built a magazine rack that they could literally wheel out into the bay and then bring back in when the sale is over with. So they also have a number of magazines that have been donated that they have for sale. Like I said, they have puzzles. They've had a whole table of puzzles here lately. We get donations of puzzles all the time. We started taking them at the library. They started selling them a while back, and so pretty much we'll take out a few maybe that we know will work for the bookmobile or something, that have larger pieces for some of Angie's senior clients. And then the rest of them go downstairs for the sale, and they've been doing, you know, a booming business in puzzles. So they do have a number of other things besides just the books and DVDs and all that they traditionally have sold. So they're doing great business right now. We are kind of getting ready for the volunteer appreciation event will be in the fall. And I think I might have mentioned that in the, you know, paperwork that I sent out to y'all to sort of save the date on that. So that'll be coming up. It's gonna have a cruise theme this year, so that'll be fun. And, yeah, they're doing great for us. They've been a wonderful asset for us. I think we're gonna try to
Amazing
get a story
asset.
about them in the Journal here pretty soon, so.
Great.
They've just been a big asset and real help to the library and keeping us going in the community. If we can't get funding from local or state for a particular thing, I rely on the Friends. I can pretty much go to them anytime and say, hey, we need something for this or that, and they say, okay, we can make that happen. So we're very lucky.
Terrific. That's good. Okay, committee reports. Does finance have a report?
We done?
Policy and personnel,
Yeah.
building and grounds.
Yes. It's kind of lengthy, but Paul and I make up the Buildings and Grounds Committee. At our May 20th, 2026 Library Board meeting, we discussed concerns over maintenance issues which had been requested and not addressed. Most of the items were from the Seneca branch requested by Emily Sluter, which dated back to January. She repeated her requests for things including HVAC, power washing, and tree removal in subsequent reports. We also discussed the Seneca handicap parking project, which dates back 1.5 years ago and had not been started yet. In June, I met with Emily to see the maintenance items in person. The following week, Paul and I met at the Seneca Library branch, and we noted additional issues that needed attention: trimming, mulching, weeding, painting, etc. In Paul's words, the grounds are embarrassing. I found similar issues at the Walhalla and Westminster branches. The Salem branch is not our responsibility. I spoke to County Councilman Glenn Hart, who gave me cell phone numbers to contact Kyle Reed, Roads and Bridges, who would be in charge of the parking lot project, and County Administrator Stuart Jones. Kyle returned my call and agreed to get an update on the project. When I didn't hear from Mr. Jones, I called County Council Chairman Matthew Durham, and I sent photos to him. He agreed to meet in the coming weeks. On July 21st, I went to the County Council meeting to reintroduce myself to Mr. Jones and to set a meeting date with Mr. Durham. The next morning, he called me at 8 a.m. On July 22nd. The three of us met at the Seneca Library. Emily was not at the library on that day. Both men agreed that the interior and exterior maintenance of the library needed to be addressed and that the parking lot issue had been unresolved for too long. Mr. Jones said that he would get updates to me as I was concerned about communication. I also reminded them of similar concerns at Walhalla and Westminster. I will be attending the next county council meeting on August 4th in order to secure updates. And I was the one who submitted this.
Good job.
And that, let's see, Blair, can we see those pictures?
You wanna see them now or at that other point in the agenda?
It does, I think now would be a good time.
Yeah, it'd be appropriate, I think.
So, I hope you all can see this on your,
We can,
can?
yes.
some of you that have a screen or look on, I guess.
Oh, can you see?
I wanna save this one for last, so
Sure.
this kinda shows the front entrance from the sidewalk that comes up from the street at the Seneca Library. Whoa, maybe a little much there, okay.
Now, that actually looks better in that picture than it does now.
In person, it's pretty bad.
Well, I will say, these were all taken in, September of 2022. So actually, our request for the parking lot, or the ramp, and you can see pictures of the ramp in a moment, but our request to have the ramp replaced with something that was more suitable for accessibility has actually been nearly 4 years in, it'll be 4 years in September.
Can we display those?
Yeah, can we put it up for the? Yeah.
It takes a minute for that thing to warm up, but, okay, here we go.
The projector just needs to
It
warm up.
starts out-
There we go.
I'm sorry?
They were asking me if I was tech savvy. I said, I think it's
No,
fine.
Of course,
It
it
just-
It takes
is.
a minute for that, the light in that thing to warm up and actually be able to show there.
Plus, this also shows where the parking lot would be. So that's a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
picture.
the area out beyond that bicycle is, you know, the front lawn, of course. And that's where they're talking about that side of, like, let me get it back. So here's this little sidewalk that you see at the very, very bottom of the picture. That, if you were to go left in that picture, that sidewalk goes out to the street. So all the parking area will be on that side of the, all right, and then this is a view from the
Backside.
parking lot, kind of the middle of the parking lot, looking at that, what passes for an accessible entrance. This is a kind of a more close-up view of it, better view of it. And you can see that's fairly narrow. I mean,
It doesn't
it's
look,
36,
it
but it's-
can't be compliant with handicap law. Yeah,
It might be a
Well,
little too steep.
Technically only, it is.
well, Matthew Durham doesn't think it is.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
and again, when I started as a branch head in Seneca in 2009, okay, the two handicap spaces for the library were, I don't know if I have a picture that shows it or not, but they were actually up at the front
Yes, they are.
of the park. They were kind of, if you were to step back in this picture towards the first row of parking spaces, they were in the front. And then you just had to navigate either up the steps or whatever. So when I was the branch head there, we actually moved the two spaces to the back.
Right.
Where you had a ramp that at least a person with a rollator, walker, in a wheelchair, whatever, could get up that ramp. It isn't great, but it was a whole lot better than just saying, okay, take your chances or park out at the street and roll up the long sidewalk, which is what they were essentially telling people.
Sure.
Of course, the ramp is covered in like black mold, And so she's asked for it to be power washed. You can imagine on a wet day, and you're trying to go up that in a walker or with a cane. It's not
Someone
gonna
could get hurt.
Picture of it.
Oh, it's
And
a
also
danger.
the handrails are rusty,
Oh, yeah,
beyond rusty.
they're terrible looking.
Then, that's sort of the back side. That is like, kind of looking from the other direction, like if you were out in the grass behind the building. That is,
Which is the worst part. It's the worst part of the building from the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there used to be some bushes back there and stuff that
Yeah.
made it look a little nicer. The trouble is, we kept having people sleep behind them.
oh, the white
So
part
for
is,
security and everything else, it was, we need to take it out.
I see, yeah.
the white part is moldy. I mean, if this is 3 years ago, you can see the mold already, you can just imagine now. Plus, that's the tree that Emily has referenced twice, she's asked to have it taken down.
Now, I know this isn't included, this part isn't included in your report because you were mainly looking at the outside, but I have a couple of pictures here on the inside as well. Because when we started this in 2022, I asked for two things. I asked for the ramp to be created so that we didn't have to send people in the back door. And I also asked for the meeting room and bathrooms to be expanded. Because if you see this little hallway, and I'll give you a different view here,
Not very wide.
that, I do not think honestly you
It's
can clear
really
that,
narrow.
okay?
So this is the hallway that,
This is the hallway where the bathrooms are located, and you're looking at the men's room, I'm standing kind of next to the ladies.
is this also the handicapped
This is how
people
you
would
get
have
out
to
the
pass?
back.
Yes.
Well, people
Yes.
can go in straight, people can, like, if they come in that door in the back, they can, you don't have to come by this, they can go straight out into the library, there's another door. Like if you were to turn left a little bit, there's another door on, kind of where I was standing, right next to me on the left side.
Okay.
Ladies' room is here, there's another door that you go straight in, and it is big enough. I mean, I have actually had somebody come in that direction in a motorized wheelchair before.
Okay.
That meeting
You
room is,
can, but it is not easy, it is not great at
No,
all.
it's tight.
that meeting room is in abysmal shape,
Well, and then the meeting room,
with the leaks in the roof.
this is our smallest.
It looks good, it looks better in these pictures.
Yeah,
It is, well, again, this was 4 years ago,
right.
or nearly 4 years ago.
When I was there, there were roof tiles removed because the ceiling's leaking, and if I'm bringing my children in there, you know, if I'm a young mom bringing my children in for the different events,
But this, you know,
right.
it is our smallest meeting room in our busiest branch. I mean, because we can use the community room at Salem, which is bigger than this. We have a bigger meeting room in Walhalla and Westminster than here, so in Seneca, and this is actually, believe it or not, the expanded one. When they expanded the building in 1985, they added a bigger meeting room. The meeting room used to be what is now the staff workroom and lounge. So,
Do
it
you
was
have
built in
the-
'68, but
Do you have that entrance picture that shows the brick crumbling? And I don't know if that was your picture or Paul's picture.
It's out front, it's right there.
That the one, you mean that front?
Yeah.
That
yeah,
front.
that,
Yeah, it's just, that whole area is just rough. The railings could be painted.
if you all will indulge me very shortly, I don't wanna take up a lot of time in the meeting, but if you all indulge me very shortly, I'll tell you a very quick little anecdote, little story. I became, as I mentioned, the branch head at Seneca on August 3rd, Monday, August 3rd. So this next Monday, it'll be 17 years for me in the library system. I became the branch head there on August 3rd, 2009. That summer or fall, I guess, the board chair at the time, John Adams, he was a realtor here in the area for a number of years. Came up from Florida, but he was a realtor in the area here for a number of years. I say all that to say that he knew about like curb appeal and, hey, we need to get this fixed, that fixed, or whatever. One of the very first things he told me was put in a maintenance request for that brickwork right there and have it fixed, which I promptly did.
17
Through
years
channels,
later.
put in a ticket request just exactly as we were supposed to do. Okay, so today is, July 28th, 2026. And And although I took this picture in 2022, it has not changed. So this is, you know, when you all talk about, well, is the library a second-class citizen and whatever, compared to, you know, many of our other county facilities, this is what I have,
Yeah,
okay?
I noticed a general trimming not done, windows
Weeds.
not cleaned.
weeds.
The
Lots of
librarian
weeds.
is pulling the weeds and fixing the toilets.
Oh, that's at Westminster, right?
No, I think that's
Seneca.
Seneca.
Oh, it's Seneca too? Oh, well, I know
Oh.
Leah does it too, yeah. Oh, geez. So, we're trying to get things pushed ahead, and you're exactly right. And I talked to Mr. Durham and Stuart Jones about that very thing. If you go to our parks and look at our new buildings, they are second to none. They are gorgeous. And if you go look at the boat ramps, I am so impressed by the boat ramps, okay? But then,
They make money.
yeah, but go look at the libraries.
Right, sure.
So, okay.
And that shouldn't be
everybody-
the answer, but the answer
Everybody's
is
been
the
busy,
boat ramps make money.
Make money.
but now it's our turn,
Absolutely.
It's our turn.
Absolutely.
so,
Well, I'm just, honestly, you know, based on your report and all that kind of thing, I mean, I as the director can just say that I'm glad that they're at least engaging with you because they don't engage with me.
okay.
And I'll put that on record. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but I'll put that on record. They don't engage with me. I actually sent Mr. Durham and Mr. Jones an email about a week and a half ago asking them about this very stuff because I hadn't heard anything in a while. I had spoken to Kyle Reed about 2 months ago and he said, well, I've got an asphalt foreman now and whatever, so are we still gonna do this? And looking at all the budget realities from this, you know, last year and everything and knowing what our budget was this year, he didn't really wanna proceed unless he knew that they were okay with it. So I had emailed them and said, you know, gentlemen, I just wanted to get back in touch with you, find out if this was a go project. Also want to be able to report to the board. No reply.
Yeah,
So I would just say congratulations, you've gotten more out of them in
it's a
the
start.
space of a week than I've gotten out of them since.
17 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So previously reported, the holdup was that we needed an asphalt man in the county. So it sounds like that at least has been resolved. So maybe the ball can start rolling.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Great.
But it was also like, he didn't want to start doing anything until he knew.
Sure.
Of
He's
course.
aware that, you know, the budget had changed, leadership had changed, whatever. He didn't want to do anything until he knew, okay, yes, you're still go to do this. He wanted, you know, input from either Mr. Durham or Mr. Jones or somebody.
Right.
And so when we sought that, up until you spoke to them, I hadn't heard anything.
We
Well-
are in a transition period right now as far as the county goes, but I think this council, I'm hoping, will be the one that changes it.
Yeah, and, Mr. Jones is new to the job, you know.
Oh, right.
He wasn't aware of the history of what went on a year and a half ago, that the county took it on rather than the $130,000 hired out. He wasn't aware of that. So, just trying to give him some background information too, so, we'll see. I'm on it, so's Paul.
Good job.
Okay. Is that all you wanted to say?
I think so, thank
Okay.
you.
Community relations report, do we have one of those?
There is none.
Okay. For the chairman's report, I want to return to recognizing the great personnel we have at the Oconee County Library System. Her name has already been mentioned, and you'll see why. She's very busy. Miss Leah Price graduated Seneca High School in 2000. 2 years later, she received an associate degree from Tri-County Technical College. In 2006, Leah graduated Anderson University with a bachelor degree in history. While she had planned the job teaching, she began to consider how much she loved going to the library. She went as often as she could and frequently took her younger sister. In 2006, Leah accepted a part-time position at Seneca Branch. In 2020, she earned her Master's of Library and Information Science from Valdosta University. And in 2011, Leah assumed the position of branch manager, Westminster. This year, she celebrated her 20-year anniversary as an employee of the Oconee County Library System. She said, I enjoy working for the library because of our users and the work we do. I love knowing we are a place where everyone can come to find free entertainment, one-on-one help, and resources. We're a school resource, visitor center, crisis center, entertainment facility, education facility, and post office food resources, and so much more. As a manager in a small system, I get to wear many different hats to keep the job interesting. My favorite thing is the programs I get to plan. I started doing story time when I was a part-time employee, and it grew from there. I love coming up with new and engaging programs, which can be hard after doing hundreds of programs over the years. I've also created several programs that benefit the system, such as senior kits, creating senior kits that eventually led to our large library of things. Advocated for and started the adult summer reading program, several system-wide collection drives, implemented the period project, and several other things. While the BBWC library is housed at Westminster, we host several pop-up events so that everyone can access it, and at some point at their home library. Of course, none of this would be enjoyable without a great staff. I've been lucky over the years that I've had hardworking and committed staff people. They take pride in their work and enjoy serving the people of Oconee and help in everything I do. None of my accomplishments would be possible if I hadn't have had them. I'm very proud of the work I and my staff have done over the years and feel like we have contributed much to making Oconee County a better place. So we celebrate Miss Leah Price and her dedication to Oconee County.
Absolutely.
Our director's report.
Okay. Just a couple of things. Actually, sort of along the same vein, I'd like to just briefly recognize Emily Johnson, who's our current youth services librarian. She'll be leaving at the end of the week. DJ Wharton also is leaving at the end of the week, her assistant. So we're kind of going to be starting over with the youth services department. DJ's been with us for around 12 years. Emily made it to one, I think. She started back last July, so she'd make it over a year. But I do know that having spoken to her about, her leaving and that kind of thing, I mean, she's just getting a better position with more pay, which is really nothing we can do about, unless and until council decides to, revisit some of the salary studies and that kind of thing, which I know that may come in future budgets when things are a little bit more stable, but nonetheless, that's why she's leaving. But she's done remarkable work for us. She started several programs for the homeschool kids. Novel study has been a really great one. She's done a bunch of things. She this summer had some what she called kind of interns, volunteers that were helping her out. And so she's just done very good work for us, and it's gonna be a big transition in the youth services department since we're also losing DJ, who had been through several youth services librarians over the 12 or so years that she's been here. So I just wanna recognize both of them, and also just thank you all. As I said, we've been fighting the good fight on some of these maintenance issues and issues with the buildings and that kind of thing for quite a while. And so any assistance, any advocacy that you all can do and that kind of thing, we appreciate the support.
Since you mentioned that, is your error in the Walhalla branch, is it repaired?
So far, it's holding.
Great.
So far, it's holding. They were able to get actually a bucket truck. I don't know if I mentioned that in the report or not, but they were actually able to get a bucket truck from Roads and Bridges. So we didn't have to invest in the lift that we thought we were gonna have to use. And, unfortunately, he did all that and found out that he didn't find the leak in the conduit that runs up the side of the building like he expected to. So I know he had this would be Jason Neal, who's the head of facilities maintenance. He had run a bunch of leak, like the stuff that, dye that shows where a leak could be. He's run a bunch more through the system and all. So far, it seems to be holding. That one unit has really honestly never worked. Those units were installed in 2011, and I think he said the one that was in place before that one never worked. So, right now, it seems to be holding okay. That room is not chilly, but it's comfortable. And when he was there the last time with the lift or with the bucket truck and doing the work and everything, he also did say he will look at maybe moving the thermostat from the last column that's in that nonfiction area actually inside that room, so you have a little bit better control over the room itself with that one unit. So we'll see how it goes. But
Okay.
that's my report.
Okay. Old business, building and grounds project, I guess we've already had that, or do you have more to add?
No, I mean, I think it's all been covered pretty well. We will, you know, be continuing to try to get some of these issues looked at and that kind of thing. I mean, I will say, right now, facilities maintenance is also shorthanded. They've lost a number of personnel. I think combination of the insurance changes and people getting close to retirement age. The gentleman that cleans our building in Walhalla, I believe, is retiring in September, so they're also experiencing some changeover, just like our department and, you know, several others. So that doesn't excuse some of this long-term stuff, but I mean, I certainly understand why they don't just jump to get, you know, have a lot of county buildings to maintain.
Sure.
And clean, so I do understand, why sometimes our stuff maybe gets kicked to the back burner. Unless it's, you know, if I call Jason and we have an HVAC problem, and I call Jason and say, hey, it's leaking or something's happening, my toilet stopped up or whatever, they come right out.
That's
I
great.
mean, you know, they sort of have to triage, but they come right out.
Okay, how about the 2027 budget
All
update?
right, so, our county budget got passed on June 29th, third reading. We did not, and we'll cover this in new business as well, we did not get the position that we asked for. We did not get an increase in our professional line item to give our, third-party personnel, our staffing agency personnel from Staffmart, our part-time personnel, a raise. So we're still cruising along at about $11 an hour for part-time. But that budget got passed on the 29th, so we became aware of what our local budget would be. They did, I mean, we got about what we normally get for like books and materials and all those sort of things. We did see a slight increase in our copier charges so that we don't have to take some of the copier money out of state aid this year because we had to last year. So they know that we're making a bunch of copies and stuff. We do a lot of our own printing in-house as well as, of course, the public prints. We have people come in all the time, hey, I need to print this off my phone. Hey, you know, they'll go back on the computer and print out pictures or shipping labels or, you know, whatever else that they need. So we do see a lot of business there, but of course, we print a lot of stuff too, to try to keep printing costs down in-house. I think it's 4 cents a color copy rather than sending something to, let's say, Vistaprint or something like that. So we print a lot of our calendars, a lot of our own collateral in-house, just to, you know, try to make sure that we can keep that down. So we did get an increase there. Now, as far as the state budget, and we will go into state aid here in just a moment, but as far as the state budget is concerned, I'm sure you all are all aware that they still have not passed an actual budget yet. It sounds like the conference committee a couple days ago did finally come to some agreement, so now it goes back to the two houses to vote on whether they agree with this compromise budget or not, but we don't know if that's gonna happen until, let's say, August. So right now, we are in limbo with a continuing resolution at the state level. We will get the same amount we got last year, which is the 216, 8, 14, and 35 cents.
Good job.
But, you know, we won't be able to certify all that and get everything ready to go. There's paperwork I would normally have you sign at this meeting that says we certify that we meet all the standards and da-da-da, this and that, and it's not even available yet because they haven't passed the budget. So, but we know we'll get the same amount as we did last year. We do know that both the House and Senate versions do include the increases for the minimum counties, so the counties that are smaller than per capita, the ones, there's about half and half in the state, those will see an increase from $150,000 to $200,000. And we'll still be getting the $275 per capita. I think our strategy next year is to ask for $3 per capita, the directors, APLA, Association of Public Library Administrators, so, that's where we are on the state budget. We know we'll get about the same, and we've gone ahead and allocated our money in, you know, when we send a budget to, or send a outline to finance, so they know which accounts to charge to. But we don't actually, you know, haven't got a check yet. So,
Okay. New business, is there more to add to that state aid and personnel?
okay, and so, yeah, I put in the director's report for you all that we are, at the end of the grant for our social worker, for Carrie Lieberbrot. We had asked for that position, as I think I mentioned before, to be covered by the county. They did not put it in this year's budget, but in order to try to extend this a little bit longer. We weren't really finding any good grants or anything like that. Brittany Martin, our grant administrator, wasn't really able to find anything that would fund all of it or most of it. So what we had to do basically to keep it going, because she's actually still got 30-odd clients that are active clients that she's still helping. So what we did was we said we would take a portion of her salary and the other expenses out of state aid, which we have the money to do. It's gonna make us maybe be a little more lean in some of our book budget and, you know, whatever. We also do have still plenty of local money in our book budget and that kind of thing as well. Might be a little lean in operations, but we could fund her for one more year with that, combination of that and some of the Friends money, since the Friends have been raising, very consistent and good, you know, amounts. So we're gonna be taking her salary and the operational expenses that go with that. Amy Saylor, also the assistant at, the Spanish translator, we're gonna be taking that out of a combination of state aid and gifts just for this year or a portion of the year, in hopes of, Gary is still looking for grants right now, I'm looking for grants right now, in hopes of being able to fund that position or get the county to fund it next fiscal year. State aid, though, is not a sustainable solution. State aid, we can't use it probably more than a year, just simply because, one, you don't know how much it's gonna be. If the economy takes a downturn, we could get less in state aid. It's not guaranteed. It's a proviso in the state budget every year. So we're not guaranteed state aid. And we know that it isn't sustainable, but we did wanna try to keep her, employed a little while longer to hopefully find a way to cover it and to, you know, sort of wrap up the work that she's doing right now. But we do realize that it's not sustainable beyond probably this fiscal year.
I'd like to speak to this. This is a tough one because listening to you speak, the person who does this has done a good job, okay? But it was with grant money. It was never with our library budget, okay? So we have to keep that in mind. Plus, this is not about a person, it's about a position, okay? And I'm thinking you probably need our permission to spend that money in that way, correct? Because it's adjusting the budget. Okay, so we can just think about that. But because it was a grant, which was not replaced, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and doing some research the last couple of days on this, the county council did not approve this and give it to us in our budget. So right there is a statement that the county council does not think we need this in our budget. Having said that, I think there's worthwhile work. The showers, I know diapers are provided, things like that, that a social worker would do. I think it's good work, but is it library work? Should it be in our budget? That's what I question, and I don't think it should be. I looked at the South Carolina Code, which is called Justia Law, section 4-9-37. And if you go to section C, it says, all funds appropriated, earned, granted, or donated to the library system or any of its parts shall be used exclusively for library purposes. Can we say that this is for library purposes? I can't. Okay, so I can't support this because I feel like I was appointed to look after library funds. Not that this isn't worthwhile work, but I don't think the law allows us to do this. Okay, the third thing, your own words.
Okay, could you read that one more time for us?
Okay, yeah, it says, it's 4-9-37. All funds appropriated, earned, granted, or donated to the library system or any of its parts shall be used exclusively for library purposes. So we've
They
got
don't
to,
specifically say what things, just library purposes.
well, we have to think about it. I mean, If
If you read that entire thing again, where you also said granted, we had a grant for her for 4 years, maybe we shouldn't have had her.
I don't know. I wasn't here then. The grant was received. We can't do anything about that. Hallelujah, you had it for 4 years. But now we don't have it. So now what we're doing is we're asking the taxpayers to say, yes, the library board can fund this. Okay, so then I looked up our state aid budget from last year, because this is gonna come out of the state aid budget, which is the 216,000. Data processing, copier, dues, school training, capital equipment, operational, IT equipment, books. Books is 101,000, okay? Periodicals, AV. The total thing, 216, 100 is books. And you said yourself, Blair, we're gonna have to get fewer books to fund this. I can't live with that. I can't. This is the library, okay? So each of us has to decide what you can live with, and if you think this is exclusively for the library, I say it's not. And I want to hear what other people have to say, but at the end of this, once we discuss, I guess I can do it right now. I would like to make a motion that we not fund this position with any library funds. If a grant is found, great. But with library taxpayer funds that are supposed to be exclusively for the library, I make a motion that we do not fund this position.
Now, I will say, just before you all,
But I have to get a second, and then we can discuss it, correct?
you
That's
making a
correct.
formal motion?
I did make a formal motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Now, can you,
Now we can
Now,
can you
discuss
please
it.
state your motion again, please?
Okay. The
Motion
motion is that we do not fund the Library Resource Associate from any library funds.
Library funds. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so it'd be discussion, since we have
I
a
think
first and
you
a
were about to say
second.
something.
Yeah, go ahead. Blair.
I have,
I think it's
can I ask some-
discussion among the board members first.
I would like to ask some questions, of you, Blair, before we discuss it, so I can discuss it competently. Okay, so I remember that, that portion you just read from our training. Because I said, what about this, that state aid money, can we use it for this, or can we get more? And you told me that it was exclusively for media, but I think somewhere in your report you said we were approved. So we are approved to use that funding by, it was, somebody said.
No, it's not, state aid is not and never has been, exclusively for media.
For media, okay. So the, my question was, I read this, I don't know if it was in here, or you sent something out and said that we were approved. So we are legally approved by someone at the state for using that, is that correct? We may not be, the board may not have approved it, but I just want to know if we're legal. Didn't someone at the state say we were approved? Did you read that? I think I read that.
He's looking at, he's typing in state like, he's looking at something.
I don't know where I saw that, but I think it was something you would put out.
All right.
There you go.
State aid can be used to employ professional and pre-professional librarians who meet their certification requirements. Provide training and continuing education opportunities for employees and trustees of the library consistent with South Carolina public library standards. Secure these services of outside expertise in areas of library operations and services. I got express permission from the state librarian to be able to use state aid
Okay.
for this paraprofessional service.
So we are legal under the state. Okay, that's what I wanted to find out.
The state librarian has said to me that we could use state aid to pay for this library service.
Okay. And then, my question is, what are we sacrificing? So if we, because I noticed that we had spent, we went to zero last year, right? On the 216?
It says through 3,200.
No, it looks like you have 3,200
Well,
left
that,
over.
this, thing was actually printed on the, June fifth.
Right.
So you,
So
that might
it's
not,
have-
we might
I
not
didn't
have that quite, that
Have the
32.
one that, we did get down to
Zero or
really
close.
zero.
Okay.
We did zero out state
Okay.
aid. I mean, there was a little bit left in small equipment, there was a little bit left in operational and all, and we did use that. The books did get used up. I mean, even once the county froze the local budget back in April or May, we were given express permission by Mr. Jones, because they don't control state aid.
Right.
Okay, so we don't,
That's directly from the state. We get 2 checks from the state every year.
so if I understand this correctly, we don't know what the total will be because we're hoping for a grant, but what is the monthly total that we're spending, and then what are we sacrificing? Where are we gonna have to, where are we going to have to cut back,
In the absence of state aid.
right, in the, to fund this position?
All right, so.
And I have 2 more questions, sorry.
That's great.
We did not, as I mentioned, we don't have copier click charges coming out of state aid this year. We took a little bit less for, dues to the state. We took a little bit less for schools, training and seminars, but we also know that we're not probably sending but maybe 1 person to a national conference this year. So we would have ended up transferring some of that money out into operations or something else anyway. Because we're not sending, two people went to a national conference last year, we think there's only 1 going this year. So we did actually cut back a little in schools, training and dues. Small capital equipment, we've made most of our large purchases in the last, say, 2 years. Desks, furniture, that kind of stuff. So, and I cannot, one thing you will notice on here, state aid cannot be used for rent of buildings, purchase of land, construction, repairs to, or operating expenses like utilities, janitor, sadly, landscaping, none of that kind of stuff.
But
The
we
stuff,
use
of course, we really need, we can't use
But we could use it for chairs at, let's say, the Seneca Library, because I remember
office
Emily
equipment,
was,
they call that office equipment. We can
Okay.
use it for furniture and that kind of thing, because that's basically office supplies, as it shows there, we can use it for purchase of, library, office equipment and services. I mean, furniture is basically equipment, services.
the reason I was asking is I remember she had specifically said their chairs were falling apart over there at Seneca, or they were really old, and so we needed some chairs. That's why I was specifically.
Well, there was a plan in the works to replace all those chairs in the meeting room. They bought new ones. You're talking about those old gray chairs or whatever, she's got new ones in
Oh,
there.
no, I meant the chairs that were out in the main area that got used so much, the reading chairs.
Oh, she got a couple of new easy chairs, I think,
Okay.
or whatever. No, we were able to get pretty much, so we did cut some in the small capital and operational. We really kind of took, IT equipment. I don't have all that stuff in front of me, unfortunately. Wait a minute, maybe I do, hold on.
But if we could use it for her, we could also use it to pump up the salaries of, like, the staff mark personnel and other. Am I correct in saying that?
If you want to take away from somewhere else.
No, but I meant.
You mean in future years?
Well, instead of,
No, I see what
because
she's
I
saying.
agree
We
with,
actually had, so from last year where you saw data processing there was 13, we actually had to put more in data processing this year to work on like our, app and that kind of thing. We put 24,700 in data processing this year, so that was an increase. We put 39,000 in a professional line item, and that's what covers her salary. So we took, dues down to 500 instead of 900. We took schools, training and dues down to 3,000 from 6,000, because again, we don't anticipate having multiple staff members going to large conferences this year. We would have probably gotten until April or May and then transferred some of that out, because we wouldn't have needed it. We did take operational down to 12,500, but we also have an operational account in local. We got $2,800 in local again this year for operations. And then we did take books down to 82,005, but the largest portion of that is actually not in the books, like books, physical books and ebooks. What we actually did was we put some bigger limits on our Hoopla. Which that was gonna have to happen anyway. Hoopla was already getting pretty expensive, so honestly, you know, to get us that 39,000 in professional, we didn't take anything out of periodical, we didn't take anything out of AV, you know, basically, we limit ourselves a little bit more on like the operational, the small equipment, and the school's training and dues, and that's how we got it.
So, and I remember when Carrie came and she explained what she was doing, but you mentioned something tonight that she still has around 30 active clients. And my question is, who are they? And I don't mean their personal names, but just what types of clients are they? Is this, these are folks that are struggling financially
Anything and
or?
everything, I mean, whether it's help with, you know, housing, employment, some people that I think there's a couple people that she's still helping with the process for like FEMA and that kind of thing to get filed for, hurricane relief. Yeah, just, I mean, pretty much any kind of thing that people would come to her for assistance with, that they would normally come to the library for help with anyway, and that's why we've used her, honestly, because rather than us trying to fumble around and come up with an answer maybe, or, you know, look something up online, now we have somebody who is well versed in that kind of work as a professional, is trained to do it, does have a master's in social work, is trained to do that, you know, work for us.
Okay, so the last question then in that vein is, the Department of Social Services, DSS, why can't they provide a social worker? We could give them the office space, but then that social worker salary would come out of their budget, because it is
Look into
social,
that, tried to talk
social
to
service.
Prisma. The reason why it works for us, we're the last free, I mean, you can just
Right.
put in a form with her or walk in, and if she's open, you know, if she doesn't already have somebody in her office, she can talk to you. You have to go through red tape with DSS, you have to be a client to go to some of these private things, Prisma or whatever. I mean, we're about the only last free place that you can just come in and ask for help and she'll do it.
So it seems to me like DSS ought to have a position that allows them to do that, and we could provide them the office space. Could we approach it from that perspective? You know, as we look through, because it seems to me, I do agree with Kay in that it seems out of the library mission. That's why we wanted to change it to resource associate, because she was providing resources, like you said, employment and all that. Because I remember when I was young, I went in there to the librarians to help me with employment issues when you're preparing for jobs and everything. But, and it's not just DSS, there are other agencies that do that do employment, coaching and all of that within the government. So I don't understand why all of those folks aren't maybe contributing to this position, and we're just providing the office
Churches
space.
as well, because she does the shower thing, the portable showers. She always lists that on her report. And I know she's listed diapers, things like that. And once again, those are wonderful things to help people with, but I agree with you. It's a social worker position. I don't think it has any belonging in the library system. If you get a grant, that's different. But this is the library budget. The county council turned it down. State aid, you said yourself, Blair, it's gonna cost us books, okay? And I look at this state aid, there's nothing about expenses for personnel that we've used in the past, okay? And then, once again, I'll go back to the law and say what you will about it being legal. I'm not comfortable with that, because what I read, it's not exclusively the library purposes. I don't want to be held accountable for that.
I would, when I saw that,
It has the code where state aid does say it can be legal.
yes, and that's why I'm saying
It's got
I'd
the code
rather,
of laws right there, so I don't know where you got that,
it is legal
but
for-
it is
This
legal.
this is the state code. This is straight from,
Well, honey,
The law.
look up here, state, it's
well,
correct,
somebody.
I mean, This is
somebody
the law
took
that state aid is
Which-
going, saying, yes, you
Which
can
bullet
use
point are
it.
you think
The third one, right
supports it?
here, to secure services of outside expertise in areas of library operations and services, plus we have approval from state, so I think
In
that,
areas of
Library
library
operations.
operations and services. I still don't think social work fits in that, number one, as well as the things that, the expenses that we have, that we're giving out things.
right, well, I do agree with, I agree with you.
I don't
there.
agree about giving now.
But as far as library, or as far as the actual operations we're talking about, as far as DSS.
Right.
But my thing is, our pay is so low for our library personnel. I'd rather see that $36,000 go to our staff mark personnel or people with
I
library
agree with you on that
certifications. Only because, again, I think she's doing.
$11.
Right, I think she's doing great work, as far as community resources. But our librarian personnel are doing great work too, like Leah Price and others.
I
And
can honestly tell you that there is no possible way to, streams don't cross. I can't, they're, as county employees, right now, she's actually a staff mark employee, because that was the only way we could do it.
I remember
She's
that.
actually a staff mark employee, and we're paying her with state aid. The county employees, I can't give them a raise out of state aid.
Okay,
Believe me, if I could, I already would have. We would have tried harder to keep Emily, but I'm limited by, I can't use, I can use this money, but I can't like give them more. In other words, I can't say, okay, you're gonna pay them X here at the county, but I can also kick in from state aid to pay them more. I can't do it.
Okay, we can do it for staff mark personnel. Okay.
Well,
But
I
then,
can do
don't
it
you have to
for
commit?
her as a staff mark personnel because she has the qualifications and this is a vital service for the library. I cannot use state aid to pay my other staff mark personnel.
Because they lack certification.
Well, also, this is what you're asking is about a temporary 1-year potential solution that might resolve itself into a more full-time position. And if we move state funds over to increase the pay of staff mark employees, but it's not a permanent decision, then we'd be raising their pay for a temporary amount of time and then have to retract that at some point,
There would be a
potentially.
chance of that, yeah.
Yeah, but
The state aid's not always guaranteed,
But I
right?
can't,
Yeah.
but I literally cannot use state aid for my part-time personnel.
Okay.
if I can redirect though, we're actually supposed to be discussing the motion, right? And the staff mark thing wasn't any part of it, even though I hear what you're saying.
No, but my question is this essential library? And I do know, what do we have, 3 or 4 social workers in the state of South Carolina that are in libraries? I know Richland has one and a couple others. But
Well,
But it's
right now
not a
it's more than
standard.
that, but, Richland County, Charleston County, Greenville County, it is mostly the larger counties that have the bigger budgets for it. A couple, Union County, I think, is smaller than us, but they were one of the original, they were the year before us, they were in this whole pilot project with the Center for Rural and Primary Healthcare, which is using state dollars. To answer your question about taxes, the whole grant and everything else has been funded by state taxpayer dollars since we started this thing. So it, just different pots of money, and since the state says we're allowed to do it, the legality isn't really in question. You all can decide whether you feel like this is worthy of keeping, but as far as us being in any kind of trouble with it or anything else, it is valid, it is legal for us to do this. And, from the standpoint of the work that she is still ongoing and doing, it just didn't make sense to us to just chop her off at the knees at the end of June of 2026 and say, okay, you're done. Thanks, we appreciate it. We didn't.
I hate
we've
to say it,
been-
Blair, but you knew this. We've known this. We've been talking about this past year, that her job was going to end this past month. We've known this. So it's not just like that. It's regrettable, right? Because you were trying to get the grant, but we've known. So
Well,
I
we
guess
put
I would
in-
ask if anyone else has comments, any other board members.
Yeah, I personally think, going down through the arguments that have been presented, I think the fact that council did not approve a position does not necessarily mean that it's not something that's of value to the community. Councils make choices on budgets all the time because they have a limited resource. they approve or deny a position based off of what they deem to be a necessary need. Unless they made a public statement that stated that this is not something we desire at all, and I think it's a waste of our money, that would be different. But just as a simple decision they made to reject or deny a position, I don't think that constitutes approval or disapproval of the statement at all. And I think the core of what we're talking about is, what is the purpose of the library? Is the purpose of the library to provide a space for the community to come into and to receive services that benefit them in their lives? I mean, the mission of the library talks about lifelong discovery. Unless you have a foundation to do that discovery upon, then there's nothing we can really provide to them as far as learning or reading or any of that. And then there's also the conversation around, these conversations would come into the library whether there was a professional to deal with it or not. I mean, I know even in the museum field, I field questions and conversations that I don't feel equipped to handle, but I do my best to help. And the library is on a whole nother scale in that realm. Like, people are going to come there to help, to need help with jobs and to need help with things that they don't have the resources themselves to facilitate. To me, it's a great thing if the county can provide a place that's open to the public, that they can come and feel safe and have access to resources, even if it's pointing them in the right direction. And having a professional there that knows how to do it and can do it and is willing to do it seems like a great benefit to the community. That if we can put a Band-Aid on, even if it does fail in a year, and if Blair's found a way to do it, I mean, I think we should try. It's not just about providing books. We know that. I mean, we have events all the time. We have Library of Things. We have all these things that we really love to do that are beyond just literacy and reading and education, because they support the community and create a foundation that helps raise everybody up. And I think this type of work is something the library can do and probably should do. I mean, if other bigger libraries deem it necessary because they have the funds, just because we're smaller doesn't mean we shouldn't have our community have that provided to them as well. So if we can do it, and if Blair's found a way to do it and can make it work, I personally think it's worth trying for a year, because it does benefit the community. And maybe we should try to push the service more, not out of the realm of something that she might be able to handle, to see what benefit it does provide to the community and see if it does work and what benefits are actually out there. Because it feels like a lot of people are using the mobile showers and using her as a resource for documentation and things like that that are needed. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I think it does fit into what is a library, because that's where people go. They go to the library. And it's either we have a service there that's professional that can help them, or we rely on people who are not trained to do it and put them in positions that they may not feel comfortable with. Or we turn them away. And that doesn't feel right either.
Any other discussion? Will you repeat that motion, please?
Right. Motion to not fund, I believe her title's community resource, right? Blair? Motion to not fund the community research position with library funds. That's how you stated it.
Right. It kind of comes across as a double negative, doesn't it? Yeah. So it comes down to, either you agree with my motion or you don't.
This is my problem I have. I'm sort of on the line of the way Nick was. My first question was, is it legal? We know it's legal. The state library approved it. We can see it there that it's approved. I don't like that it takes away from the state aid, and I hate that Blair and them have to take away from other places to do it. However, I think if we include in the motion to say further employment, whoever the community research person should always be done by a grant, then, and then in future library boards, if they don't like that, they can change that. But I do agree that I want that position coming from a grant instead of having to, you all have to give and take. But I understand why you did it, because you're just trying to get that money so she can further with her clients. And when would the year, how is it January through December? Is that how it goes? Or what's What's the year?
No, it's fiscal year,
Fiscal year.
July
Okay.
and June.
So will you amend your motion to say that?
No,
To say that it could
because
come
they're
from a
two,
grant?
they're two separate issues. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying library funds should not be used for that. So you either agree with me or you don't, okay? And Judy's saying that if you can find grant money, that's a totally separate issue.
But I also believe,
The grant money will not be library money.
no,
Right, it's not.
grant money's still taxpayer money, but it's not
If
library.
we don't
budget.
approve the spending of this money to keep her on staff, we will lose her whether we find a grant or not. And then it's starting all over again from square one to try to find someone who fits our system.
Right.
This is
It's a
a
tough-
Band-Aid for a year to try to find a permanent resolution to this issue and to be able to continue to provide this service.
To me, it's a very difficult decision.
It is very difficult.
Very difficult. And I don't know whether 30 minutes discussing it, I feel comfortable making a decision that way. So I don't know how you do this, and I don't want any hard feelings, but I'd like to have a motion to table it so we can each get our,
But Judy,
Heads
he can't table it because the budget has already started and he needs the money now, right?
No, it would just go forward the way he's done it until
Yeah,
we
it just
decide
go- yeah.
whether to continue it.
Yeah, but why would we table it for 2 months?
all right, well, just deny my motion. I don't know how that works. I don't feel comfortable making a very difficult decision right now based on 15 minutes of discussing it. I don't. Now, I can abstain, can I not, from a vote?
You
Okay.
can abstain. You can abstain. You can also, we can also vote to table it.
I mean, I don't want to get
I mean,
anybody
respectfully,
mad.
If you're talking about ending a library program, I think that needs to be on the agenda and that needs to have a separate vote.
That was my thought.
This kind of goes beyond,
It does.
you know, discuss state aid and personnel. I mean, that was mainly an informational thing, I think. To be honest, I mean, you all can move any way you wish to, but honestly, this needs to be like an agenda item. You don't want to have a special
But,
meeting in another couple
Blair,
of weeks and.
It's not a program that the library has provided for. It's been only provided by the grant. So
I
it's
respectfully
without
disagree.
us,
We got the library program. We
Without-
hired her as a county
without the
employee.
board.
We just did it with.
Blair,
grant money
without the
instead.
board saying that we can use this money to pay her, it's done, because the grant money's done. I believe you need our permission to use any of this money for her salary.
I do agree with Blair, though, that if we're going to be removing a service from the library, I think it's a disservice to the community to not advertise that on an agenda and give them the opportunity to come and speak in public about how they feel about that service.
I agree with that. I would like to hear from,
At least give them the opportunity, even if it's a special meeting that we do in 3 weeks. But the opportunity and having it on an agenda for people to come or to contact us or Blair or to be able to have an opinion instead of us just trying to declare whether it's within the library's responsibilities or
because
not.
I agree. This is a position, this is nothing to do whoever is in that position and getting that paycheck. You're exactly right, Nick. You're taking a position away from the library that's been here and has, well, she's got 30 clients she's still dealing with. She's done much more. I would like to hear from the public if people showed up to talk about it.
I would like to actually hear more specifics from Carrie Leeper Brock. She came in here, she talked to us that time. I actually got more out of a meeting, a friends meeting I went to, where she delineated everything she had spent money on, which was provided by the Friends. But all the work she had done, I would like specifics of exactly what resources this position is providing. Just like I don't think do we have a job description for her? Okay, so I would like to see the specifics of that, because I know exactly what the circulation managers do. I know exactly what the collections people do. But even after she came here to speak that day, I didn't really leave with a firm idea of exactly what this position does. So I would like to see, you know, like you were saying, Nick, you know, if there's value in the position, I would like to know that. If there's not, I agree with you too. I sound like I'm waffling here. I agree with you too, but I think I'd like to see what are the specifics of what she's doing, and is it not only needed by the library, because, or by the community, not just library, but also, I'd like to discuss, are there other ways of providing that? Are there other places? And I do understand what you're saying, the library is where everybody goes. I don't even know where DSS is in Oconee County.
Right.
And I'm sure there's probably other people that feel that same way. There's no central resource place, except for, I know when I was a kid, I went to the library and they told me where to go. And Blair and I had this discussion a year ago. If she's not there, is that gonna put an additional burden on our library employees? Because I know they get a lot of questions. It's kind of like the church. You know, people get all upset when the churches don't answer every single person that comes to the door, but
Those
just-
are valid concerns.
So that's just, and
Yeah,
that's
you
common
can't.
sense, that is gonna be a burden placed on other employees.
You know, I don't disagree with what Nick's saying, that we should have. I feel like somehow we're remiss in not getting this out there if you think people didn't know. We as a board have known this day was coming.
yes.
We've known for like,
We have.
Blair knew for like a year.
Blair has kept us up to
So,
date, yes.
We should have gotten it out there and talked to people about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point, but we didn't know that the county wasn't gonna approve the position until last week
Well,
officially.
I mean, common sense, I knew that was coming. We're entering a
Yes.
period of austerity with the budget.
Because of
So,
their problems with the
Yeah,
budget.
right.
I pretty much knew
So-
that.
That kind of goes to your point too about like, well, they didn't approve this position. They also are getting rid of the county occupational health nurse. I mean, we don't have a resource to go to anymore as employees. Like if you're sick, if you need a prescription,
Right.
whatever, they've canceled that
Right.
position. So now we have to go back to our providers again and put it on our insurance. So, I mean,
So again, it's not based on value, it's based on money.
Yeah, it's-
And they've had to,
like I've said in my
Tighten
job
up.
for a decade now, I'm never gonna argue that a curator at a museum is more important than a first responder. It's valuable to me, but I'll never make that argument to a city council member or to a community.
Perhaps we should have a meeting of the community relations and sit down and discuss this at length before, because we're kind of all over the place on this. My big beef is, what are we sacrificing to keep this position? What are we? What is the community sacrificing to keep this position? I would like to weigh that. Books versus the resources Carrie is providing. So I would just like to have like you said, what is the value of this position compared to the value of the things we're sacrificing? If I could see that, I'd feel a lot better about voting yea or nay on this.
yes.
Those are all valid concerns. So we have a motion and a second, but we also have a motion to table. So do we have a second on the motion to table?
Oh, did you motion to table it?
I
She
motion
did.
to table it.
All right, I'll second that.
Don't you first have to vote on,
Not if you have a motion to
Not if you have
table.
a motion to table.
I'd like to second that, and I would like to have a meeting before our next board meeting
Yes.
for, I'll call it under community relations, but any of the board members are welcome to come, and we'll try and do it
Please.
on an evening so that people who work can
if
make.
you're going to do that, will you get someone from like social work,
I would.
DHS?
That's a great
To
idea.
talk to, because once again, I don't feel this belongs in the library's budget.
And that's actually the bigger question as far as just policy across the state, because it's not in every library. So why, when we're so tight on funds, is it in our library? And it might be because we're so rural and we need those we need those services. Because you don't see as many hurting people in some of the more urban areas, so. I would like to discuss that in a community relations meeting.
It'll be open to
Everyone, Yes, and it's always open to the public.
Great. So we still have a motion to table.
She seconded,
You
we've
seconded, okay.
discussed, now call for a vote approve.
Right. So do we, all in favor to table this until a further meeting? Okay, any opposed? Okay, opposed, make.
Yes, sir, I got it. Okay, so the motion to table, Kim seconded. And Kimmy, you will send out a notice to all of us as, maybe give us a couple of dates of, so everybody, Nick, you're in Greenville, right?
I'm in Pickens.
Pickens,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, but I'm off on Mondays, if that makes it easier for
that's
everybody.
Okay.
So, okay,
Anybody else is,
I'll make it work.
we'll do it, evenings are best for everyone too. Could we get the library open late or no?
I'm sorry?
Could we get the library open late for that or no? In the meeting room?
Okay.
There's no issue with that. Because I mean, we can get in here, but I'd have to get with Ms. Adams and get it scheduled and all kind of stuff. And with their committee meetings, plus all the other boards and commissions that have to meet in here.
Right.
And I had gotten permission, even back before Mr. Chumley, I had gotten permission from, David Root, the former county attorney, to be able to have, as long as we advertise it publicly and all that kind of stuff or whatever, to be able to have that, like a committee meeting or something like that in the library, so that's the problem.
Can we have it off county premises? I mean, could we, if we could have it elsewhere if we had to? If we didn't have enough room?
I guess what you're asking, does it have to be recorded since there would be a,
We looked at that, we don't have to be recorded, we just
Right.
have to be public.
Right.
For committee meetings.
That's right.
okay, okay.
I mean, I don't know where you would need to go besides, let's say, Walhalla or Westminster or something that has a decent sized meeting room. I wouldn't suggest we do it in Seneca based on our earlier discussion.
I'd much rather meet in the Walhalla meeting room. So,
But we'd have, then we gotta find a venue if you wanna have it somewhere else. I don't know where we would have it.
No, I'd rather have it in the Walhalla meeting room if possible.
Oh, yeah, that's the
But it
problem.
would require, in order for the working people to meet there, at least 5:30 or 5.
Okay.
I mean, I live in
That's-
Seneca, but
that's-
Walhalla's easier to get to from Pickens anyway.
That's not a problem. I mean,
Okay.
we've always said, even with our hours as they are, we have a special program, if we need to have a meeting, something like that of the library, no, I'll be there.
Okay.
So, we're there till, I hope not until, 8 or 9, but
That's what, that's what I was getting at. So let's pick a Monday, we'll discuss that later.
Great, okay. And the, fall programming preview.
Really, like I said, the main thing I wanted to point out, and I think I did put it in, I don't remember if I put it in I think it was under the, other in my report. Just wanted to remind you all, on Thursday, October 15th, from 6 to 8, will be the volunteer, appreciation dinner. This will be Janice's last, so, our last one doing it. It's a cruise theme. But we do have some other, with the change in personnel, youth services personnel, we're not, and we, regardless of whether they had changed or not, we weren't planning on doing story times in August. They always take August off to just, recover, and we have end of, season reports and everything that we have to write on summer reading and everything, so there'll be no story times in August. Those will resume in September, and then we will be, still be doing the story time, still be doing the basic children's programming, but we will have a new youth services librarian, so there'll possibly be new emphasis. We're still gonna do homeschool, we're still gonna do that kind of thing, but there may be some new emphasis there, different programs and things for our youth, services. One of the other suggestions that came from one of the staff was that, when we do get a new youth services librarian, that maybe she work a couple of days in the first few weeks that she's here at every branch, so she becomes very familiar with the branch personnel. We're gonna make that happen. As far as the, adults, programming, we are gonna do an adult winter reading again this year, as we did last year. Brittany Castro has already asked for some funds from the Friends to do that. We're gonna do, we are trying, we don't know, which businesses yet, but she is gonna try to do for National Library Card Sign Up Month in September. She's gonna try to give us some local businesses to do a show your card and save. So hopefully we can recruit some local businesses to give us a, 10% off on something, or a free entree, or a free dessert, or whatever. If you
That's
show a
great.
library card. So that's also something that we're gonna be working on this fall. And of course, we'll have, our holiday stuff, and if the bookmobile's running as it should be, which it has been so far, we'll have the parades again and that kind of thing. But yeah, some changes probably to come with youth services, but, some of that is just very formulaic. Obviously, we'll continue to do the story times, we'll continue to do, programs for homeschool and that kind of thing. I think we have a couple of more things coming up for SC 250, or Oconee 250, and then, like I said, the adult programming, we are gonna do the adult winter read. She's got some other fun stuff planned, as well.
And that is the agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
I love adult winter reading because I don't have time in the summer.